Hello, my dear students. As we have read the first part of the chapter 3 questions, now we are going to start with the second part. So, in this story, we have learned that the king went to the hermit to ask 3 questions. The hermit listened to the questions carefully but did not answer. Then they saw a man running towards them. When the king turned, he saw that the bearded man was running towards them. His hands were pressed against his stomach. When he reached to the king, he fainted and fell to the ground. Then the king and the hermit removed the man's clothes and found a wound on his stomach. Then the king washed his wound and covered it with handkerchief. So, handkerchief is a piece of cloth. But the blood would not stop flowing, so the king redressed it. The man felt better, and the king brought water for him, and the king and the hermit took the bearded man into a hut and took care of him. At night, the king slept in hermit's hut and suddenly woke up and heard a voice. When he saw it was bearded man asking for the king's forgiveness. When the king heard this, he was surprised and asked the bearded man that who was he and why was he asking for his forgiveness. The bearded man told him that he was king's enemy who swore revenge on the king. Swore is the second form of the word swear, which means a serious promise, and revenge means something you do to punish somebody who has hurt you, made you suffer. So the bearded man told the king that he had come to take revenge because king killed his brother and seized his property. So here, students, seized means took by force or snatched. The bearded man told about his plan to kill the king and said that he knew that the king had come to meet the hermit and he planned to kill the king when he will be returning home. But his plan was failed because the king did not return home for many days. So when he came here, the king's bodyguard recognized him and wounded him. The king saved bearded man's life, so now he was sorry for his plan and asked for the king's forgiveness. The king was very happy to have made peace with his enemy so easily and to have won him over as a friend. It means he was happy that he changed his enemy into a friend so easily. So he offered his servants and doctors to look after the bearded man and promised to give back the man his property. After this, the king left the wounded man. When the king went out of the hut and started looking round for hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to get answers to his 3 questions. The hermit was on his knees sowing seeds in the beds that had been dug the day before. The king asked the 3 questions to the hermit again. Then the hermit answered that the king has already been answered. But the king asked him again, and hermit answered, if you had not pitied my weakness yesterday and had not dug these beds, you would have gone away. Then the man would have attacked you, and you would have wished you had stayed with me. So the most important time was when you were digging the beds. And I was the most important man, and to do me good was your most important business. So, the most important time was when the king was digging the ground. The hermit was the most important man, and to do good with others is the most important thing to do. Because if the king would not have helped the bearded man, then the bearded man would have died without making peace with the king. So, students, now we have got to know the answers of 3 questions. I am going to repeat the questions. So, the first question was, what is the right time to do something? So, the answer of this question is now. The present time is the right time to do something because it is the only time when we have power to act, and if we use our time wisely, we can achieve anything. And the second question is, who is the most important person? The most important person is the person you are with at a particular moment. So, whosoever is with you, treat them as the most important person because you never know whether you will meet them or not in future. The third question is, what is the most important thing to do? The answer is, the most important thing is to do that person good because we are sent by God in this world for this purpose alone. We should treat everyone well and show courtesy. So, students, I hope you have understood the chapter and you make these things in use in your life.